By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
Nilqakom għal programm ieħor By the way, illum għandna suġġett illi żgur se jkun ta' interess għalikom is-segwaċi ta' dan il-programm ta' diskussjoni. Ħafna Maltin jgħidulek f'Malta għandek tinqeda bil-Malti. Hemm min jargumenta illi t-tnejn, kemm l-Ingliż u kemm il-Malti huma ż-żewġ lingwi uffiċjali tal-pajjiż, allura għandek taċċetta lil kulħadd. Din il-kwistjoni illi tqum ta' spiss anki riċentament meta kelli programm illi fih mill-mistiedna tiegħi preferew, kienu Maltini ma preferew illi jitkellmu bl-Ingliż, jiena argumentajt illi jiena dejjem nagħti l-ispazju biex dak li jkun jitkellem bl-iktar mod illi jħossu liberu u li jistanki jesprimi ruħu sew. Nemmen li tipprova titkellem il-Malti u mbagħad tkissru b'ħafna Ingliż fih, eċetera, inti komdu bl-Ingliż, aħjar titkellem bl-Ingliż f'dak il-każ. Imma l-Malti sabiħ tant illi anke hemm barranin illi jfittxu illi jitalmuh u anke jistudjawh. U ħaniġi għal dan minn hawn ftit ieħor. Riċentament fil-paġna Malti.mt rajna kif tanki tista' titgħallem kliem u anki frażijiet bil-Malti illi huma marbutin ma' oqsma differenti, sa issa tista' titgħallem kliem relatat ma' li vjaġġar u tejb insemmu illi kull kelma jew frażi tista' tismagħha kemm il-darba tixtieq ħalli anki ttejjeb il-pronunzja tiegħek. Ġifieri hemm din ir-riżorsa biex anki barranin f'pajjiżna jistgħu jitgħallmu il-Malti. U s-suġġett ta' by the way tal-lum u il-barranin illi jitkellmu il-Malti. Se nkun nisimgħu żewġ esperjenzi differenti, żewġ barranin illi talmu l-Malti imma it-traġitt tagħhom kien differenti ħafna. U l-ewwel se nilqa' miegħi fl-istudju huwa lil Tomasz. I hope I got it right.
Tomasz.
Tajjeb jettu?
Tajjeb.
Tajjeb. Tomasz illi propja inti Pollak imma l-lum il-ġurnata tgħix bir-Żebbuġa u se nitkellmu dwarek anki kif bdejt tistudja l-Malti. Ma qabel xejn nixtieq nagħmel referenza wkoll li jiena ngħid l-ewwel darba li smajtek titkellem bil-Malti u b'Malti tajjeb ħafna kien fuq dokumentarju illi għamel anki il-ħabib tagħna Isaac Joseph Zammit illi għamel dawn l-intervisti ma' persuni bħalek illi barranin imma talmu il-Malti. Tajjeb ngħid Isaac jiena studentek, Isaac żgur qed isegwina tajjeb illum, imma Isaac jistħiwis u s'issa għadni ma rnexxilix nikkonvinċih biex ingħaqad miegħi xi darba għal-programm. Forsi Tomas, tibda billi tgħidilna ftit xi ħaġa dwarek, x'tistudja jew x'taħdem issa llum il-ġurnata u anke kemm ilek Malta.
Kont ngħix Malta issa, ilni ngħix Malta kważi 7 snin issa. U naħdem fil-kumpanija Amerikana dwar cyber security. X'nista' ngħid.
Meta ġejt l-ewwel darba Malta? Kont ġejt fuq btala?
Meta ġejt l-ewwel darba Malta, naħseb li kważi 8 snin ilu. Għal-weekend biss.
Għal-weekend biss?
Iva, għal-weekend biss u meta ħriġt mill-ajruplan, ħsibt immedjament li dak u il-post tiegħi.
Mill-ewwel ġifieri ħassejtek.
Mill-ewwel, iva.
Ħassejtek home ħanejdu hekk.
Iva.
Għalfej?
Iva, ma nafx.
X'attilak lejn Malta? Meta bdejt tara l-postijiet. Fej kont mort matul dak il-weekend?
Mort kull imkien naħseb, taf li ħan ispjega bl-Ingliż għax aktar faċli lija. I went all around the islands and basically it was just, a tourist visit, visiting some friends who already lived here. And then when I went back to Poland, I was thinking a lot about what to do about it, whether this was just, a momentary lapse of reason or a real thing. So I came again a couple of months later, again for another weekend, and yeah, that's it.
Mhux bil-ħsieb imma li titgħallem il-Malti, sempliċement għax ħabbejt il-Malta.
Iva. And and a couple of months later, I ended up looking for a job here and moving permanently. So it's been 7 years now.
Ekku. X'attirak imma lejn l-sin Malti? What attracted you to the Maltese language?
Well, if you don't want to just be an expat, if you feel that this is your place, and Maltese is the true language of Malta, it's the national language, it's the language of the people. If you hear somebody talking on the street, they're talking between themselves in Maltese. You cannot really truly integrate. You cannot feel that you're a part of a country that you love if you don't know the language, and this is the language. So it was very quickly, and a couple of months after I arrived, I started learning. I decided that this is the right way to do it. So, and again, just as I don't know what attracted me to Malta. I have no idea what attracted me to the language itself either. It's just, like an internal feeling.
X'kienu l-ewwel kliem bil-Malti illi tallimt?
Mela, mhux ovvja. All the meanings of mela, of course.
U kien hemmhekk xi phrases that you learned?
I don't think so. Bdejt nitgħallem fil-kors ta' lifelong learning. I don't think I learned anything before that. I just went very quickly to an organized course and got deep into the grammar, into orthography, into things like this.
Mill-ewwel mort tal-ortografija u grammatika.
Yes.
Mill-ewwel tmur għall-eruq. Ta'
That's
kif
how the
titgħallem
courses
il-Malti. U kif kienet l-esperjenza tiegħek?
Well, I was very lucky to have an amazing teacher.
Kellek għallim tal-ġen.
She was very passionate about teaching it, and she was also preparing a lot of materials on her own, kind of like extending beyond what the course was about. But originally, like at least those 6-7 years ago, courses were designed very strongly similar to courses for Maltese.
Ġifier isu t-talim tal-Malti għal-Barranin kien l-istess daqshekk kieku ħatgħallem Malti.
Yes, exactly. The only difference was that the courses for foreigners were given in English and not in Maltese, but the topic, scope of it, was mostly grammar and orthography, things that you go to pass an O-levels with, So they kind of didn't...
You were finding them hard?
No, it wasn't hard. It was just... I learned a lot of rules, but for example, I didn't learn much vocabulary. And this kind of is a problem which I struggle with until today. That I can write very well, I don't make mistakes, I understand how things are constructed.
Ġifier inti kapaċi tikteb bil-Malti?
Iva. U naħseb li nista' nikteb tajjeb ħafna.
Minn żbalji. U ħafna Maltin jagħmlu ħafna żbalji.
Iva, naf.
Taqrom inti online daw?
Yes, online it's a pain reading some comments. Yes, true. But I understand where it comes from because
U minn fejn taħseb li ġejja?
It comes from the history of the language and the fact that you mostly learn the language by listening to it, by talking. And I noticed that a lot of Maltese, they prefer writing in English. It's the education system. A lot of subjects are also taught in English, not in Maltese. Like math, I believe, is taught in English.
Iva.
So exactly, science and subjects like this. So you get used to writing and reading in English so much.
Li jumbat automatikament.
Yes. And it's easier than knowing where to put the ein.
Issa tejb insemmu għal min forsi qed jgħid imma kif Tumax qed jitkellem bl-Ingliż. Din hija l-ewwel darba li inti ġejt għal intervista fuq ir-radju u x'hekk. It's your first radio interview.
Here, yes, in Malta, yes.
Barra minn Malta?
I have been in the radio or on TV back quite a few years ago back in Poland, yes.
Imma ma tkellimx dwar il-Malti?
No, of course not.
Konna titkellmu dwar il-kors tal-lifelong learning. X'inhu manki l-sfidi challenges li sibt matul dan il-kors?
Well, as I said, the course is constructed very strongly to teach how to write well, mostly, and to know the rules of the language, but it doesn't really assume, but it kind of assumes that you already know some vocabulary. It doesn't teach you phrases, it doesn't teach you communication. There is very little interaction. There are exercises like typical reading exercises, like the ones that you have on O-levels, That you have a short text that is being played and then you have to answer questions about it. And that's basically it. You don't really talk to the teacher much, or if you talk to the teacher, you talk in English. The class is taught in English, and
at what time was the course?
luckily the lifelong learning ones are very good for people working full-time. It was at 6 p.m., so it was easy to get there after work.
So there wasn't that difficulty?
No, that wasn't a difficulty at all. And I think it's, from all the courses that I've looked for, only lifelong learning does them late enough. For example, university does them at 3 o'clock. Like, who working full-time is able to go even online to a 3 o'clock course?
Ġifieri inti xtaqt tagħmel korsijiet l-Università tal-Malti? You wished to do
yes, of
Maltese
course. I
courses.
wish to do a lot of different courses, but I did the ones that I could only.
But
So,
because of the time or because of...
because of the time mostly, yes. Because
Ġifieri-
I even wanted to try different courses, you know.
And
even if
Maltese.
they're- yes. Even if they're, again, from the basics, perhaps I will learn something new, you know. Even though I did MQF1 in lifelong learning, I did MQF2 in lifelong learning, and then I went for a real hardcore challenge, but I managed. I actually went for an MQF3 course for Maltese.
For Maltese?
Yes, in Future Focus course.
And how
So
did you
it
do
was,
in that?
It was very difficult, but I did manage to pass, yes. So, but for example, I tried Maltese conversation courses in lifelong learning. The problem is that they have a lot of beginner courses, the MQF1. It's available everywhere. You can take it in Sida, and I think even in Berzabuja. I don't know. I know I have a friend who's taking a physical course, not just online, because physical courses are better.
Mhux hekk meta tiltaqa'?
He's taking one in St. Paul's Bay. So I know there are a lot of them available, but Maltese conversation classes, I think there are only 2 of them in Msida. So this kind of shows the focus. I would have preferred to have Maltese conversation classes everywhere. So I was also trying to look for private tuition, private classes.
Or nexxielek? Did you manage?
At the beginning, yes. I had one with my original teacher. She actually taught in private. And I found another great teacher who was originally not a kindergarten. I think even a kindergarten teacher. So he had very good educational background and such. It was fun learning with him. But then he went on to another job and he stopped teaching privately. Then I started searching. And even last year, I was trying to find something, preferably in the south, because I live in the south. I managed to have a couple of lessons with a young student, actually, university student,
Okay.
who wasn't a professional, but she was willing to talk in Maltese, and we had like a lot of similar topics about the environment. She was like very.
Inti kapaċi titkellem fuq l-ambjent, Thomas?
Nista' nitkellem fuq l-ambjent iva.
Ġifieri kull kol ngħidlek ikkummenta fuq l-ambjent ta' Malta.
Well, it's not getting better.
No, in Maltese, so
unfortunately.
we
All right.
practice some conversation.
Mux problema. Naħseb li hemm ħafna problemi bil-ambjent f'Malta issa.
Għalfej?
U hemm ħafna overconstruction. Ħafna konstruzzjoni u naħseb li kumpanijiet tal-iżviluppatur huma ħafna saħħa.
B'saħħithom.
Qed immur lill-protests.
Qed immur il-protesti.
Iva, per eżempju,
Probably
Villa Rossa issa.
Ta' Villa Rosa.
Ta' Villa
Malti
Rossa
ma jmorru protesti.
Iva, u diska favorita tiegħi li naħseb li jgħid ħafna dwar l-ambjent, dwar l-problemi għaw u Alla Liberani ta' Brikkuni.
All right.
Ma rridx ngħix Dubai wis anka Singapore. Irrid ngħix Malta. U hemm ħafna problemi issa huge buildings.
Bil-binijiet li huma kbar. Le kodna d-dik jena mit-test dwar il-Malti. Għalix tidher li għandek ħakma tajba tal-Malti, a good grasp of the language. Konnet ngħidu dwar courses. Were there a lot of foreigners with you learning Maltese?
At the first lifelong learning course, I remember first class, it was full. It was absolutely full. It was nearly impossible to sign up.
Meta ngħidu full, how many people?
At least 30 people, I would say. At least 30 people. Basically, you had to, at least 7 years ago, I don't know what it's like right now, but the courses were opening like mid-July, and you had to be online like within the first hour to sign up. Next day, you had no chance. Everything was full already. So there was a lot of interest, and a lot of people, a lot of foreigners, knew about those courses in lifelong
Li
learning.
rridu jitalmu l-Malti. And the ages were? Were there young
Adults,
people?
no, not really young people, mostly adults. There were different nationalities, a lot of Filipinas, because a lot of Filipinas marry Maltese men, and so they want to learn the language to become part of the family. So, but the strange thing was then, though, that on the second lesson it was just half the people.
After the second lesson?
Yes, after the first lesson, half the people never came back.
And what do you think is the reason?
I think it was when the content of the course was explained. Where it was said that we're going to learn this grammar, that they felt that this isn't going to be helpful for them. And the lifelong learning courses are very inexpensive, so it's not that much money lost if you don't go, you know. It's like for EU citizens, they're around 35 euros for an entire year. So
Il-problema mhux il-flus.
yeah, exactly. So, and then only 7 of us graduated. Only 7 graduated the first course.
Nazzjonalitajiet kienu?
I think 2 or 3 Filipinas, 1 Spanish guy, 1 Italian guy, a Lithuanian girl, I think. Yes,
Okay.
So
Taħlita.
the different nationalities.
Għadek tiltaqa ma' Barranin bħalek li fitxu li titalmu l-Malti?
Honestly, I know only one person who is really into it, and that's Marianne, with whom I'm in the documentary by Isaac. I don't really know anybody else who's like that advanced and has been studying for such a long time. I do have a Polish friend who is at the beginning of his journey, but he is also trying very hard. Like, for example, right now he's creating a website in Polish to learn Maltese.
In Polish to learn Maltese?
Yes. First one ever. So so there are people who are interested, but I think a lot of them get discouraged.
More Polish people will learn Maltese. Thanks to that.
Hopefully.
Għal min jgħid li l-lingwa ħatmut, il-Pollakki jafu jitkellmu l-Malti meta l-Maltin ikunu nasew kif.
True, exactly.
Tieħu gost taqra letteratura bil-Malti, qari bil-Malti, televiżjoni bil-Malti, mużika bil-Malti, semmejna l-mużika.
Mużika iva. Yes, reading literature is a little too difficult. TV, I can listen to the news. The news, I can actually understand almost everything.
Tifhem kollox,
Mux kollox imma ħafna għax. It depends on the vocabulary. But for example, when I try to watch some soap operas or something like this, I'm having much more difficulties understanding what's going on. I actually enjoyed, I tried a couple of times, ħaġa moħġaġa.
ħaġa moħġaġa,
yes, exactly.
Taf xi ħaġa moħġaġa bil-Malti?
It's like wordplay, something like wordplay, exactly.
Do you know any ħaġa moħġaġas?
I might have heard some, but no, I don't think so. I cannot cite any at the moment. But the thing was that the game show itself is constructed in such a way that it's much easier to understand. It's not like a constant flow of words that becomes difficult to understand, you know? When it's a constant flow of words and you stop understanding at a moment, you lose like what the whole thing is about.
Semmejna l-mużika. X'mużika aktar toġbok?
Brodu u djun.
Brodu u djun?
U brikkuni u muxovja.
Ġifieri jekk il-lirika jerna xilek tifhimha.
I actually tried translating a lot of their lyrics for myself to understand what's going on, especially both Brodu and Dune, mostly. Songs like Sequestrin by Brodu, for example, or Sihbili Hobil Leil. That's probably my favorite from Brodu. And I've gone to so many of their concerts and I've listened to a lot of that music. And that helped me quite a lot with the vocabulary, I have to say. The exercise of translating their lyrics to English or Polish or whatever.
Ġifieri il-mużika bil-Malti anything biex titgħallem il-Malti.
Yes, exactly. It helps a lot.
Il-fatt li inti f'daw l-aħħar 7 snin ġejt toqgħu imma għamilt sforz kbir biex titgħallem il-Malti għax il-Malti jogħġbok. You like Maltese, that's why you went to courses. Do you feel that it helped you to integrate in society, the fact that you know Maltese?
Yes. My closest friends, we talk in English and it's not a problem. Most of my friends are actually Maltese.
Il-maġġoranza tal-ħbib tiegħek huma Maltin.
Yes. Here, yes. I don't really make friends with foreigners that much. I have one best friend who's Polish, but she came like 2 years after I came here. She's also been living here for 5 years, but she gave up on trying to learn.
Okay.
She also tried lifelong learning courses and she found them not good enough for her. She got frustrated and stopped learning. So, but as I said, most of my friends here are Maltese, but we talk mostly in English. But if I try to speak, which I do, for practice, I go to a shop or I take a taxi and I try to speak in Maltese. I usually get very positive reactions. And I see a smile on their faces, on the faces of the people who don't come across foreigners knowing Maltese often, and it makes them happy that somebody respects the language and loves the language and wants to learn the language, and it makes me happy to make them happy. So
U jwiġbuk lura bil-Malti jew kellmok bil-Ingliż?
It depends, of course, on the topic. Sometimes I'm able to keep the conversation going a little, but like if it's quite simple. Sometimes we go back to, and for example, in shops, very often, even if I try speaking in Maltese, they reply to me in English because I look foreign.
Xorta bl-Ingliż ġifieri.
Yes. Even if and that's a problem that Marian that I mentioned, she has very often because she's British and she has a very strong British accent as well, and that's why probably she's being responded to in English instead of Maltese. But it's not always like this. I still remember a couple of months ago I went to a pharmacy in Birzebuja, which I usually don't go to. It's near the post office, so I was picking something from the post office. I went to the pharmacy there and I spoke in Maltese and they replied to me in Maltese, and then at the end I thanked them for talking to me in Maltese, and they were like, look at me. What? You're not Maltese?
M'għandunawx li inti Barrani.
Yes, exactly.
U dik naħseb li kbar sodisfazzjon għalik.
Yes, that was very satisfying, yes.
Kollha nagħlqu għax il-ħin qed jiġri warajna jekk ikolli ngħidlek. Liemi l-iktar frażi bil-Malti jew tinreġi sentenzi li jogħġbuk bil-Malti?
I can't really say anything. Well, there are...
Jew xi ħaġa li tgħid ta' spiss inti bil-Malti, eżempju biex tikkumplimenta xi ħaġa, to pass a compliment in Maltese, or something you find yourself saying a lot in Maltese.
I don't really have phrases like this, and what I find easiest to talk about my process of learning, because I learned the vocabulary about learning Maltese best. So this is like... this is where I don't really have difficulties talking about, but I don't think I have any specific phrases.
But if you had to tell me, I enjoyed this interview in Maltese.
Piacere.
Kien pjaċir tiegħek. U kien pjaċir tiegħi ħafna wkoll, Tomas, li nqatt miegħi għal din l-intervista. Any concluding remarks about those for those? Actually, we'll say that after the break. You'll pass a message to those learning Maltese. By the way, compliment għaw ftit ieħor.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
Tomas, Pollak, toqgħod Birżebbuġa, Inqat miegħi llum għal din l-edizzjoni tal-programm By the Way li fih niddiskutu l-ilsim Malti mitkellem mill-Barranin daqs nisimgħu wkoll l-esperjenza ta' saċerdot Kenjan illi tallem il-Malti. Qabel waqafna saqsejtek ikollok tgħaddi messaġġ a message to those who are trying to learn Maltese or who wish to learn Maltese. What would it be?
I think we have to join forces and push harder for more resources and for more help. It's already getting better. The website that you mentioned from the university, Malti.mt, is very helpful already. I can shamelessly promote my Facebook group, jitkellmu l-Malti.
Kemm għandek nies fil-grupp?
There are at least like 10 or 20 active people. I think there are at least 300 or 400 signed up.
300 barani u baranija?
Yes, I think so. Well, some of them are Maltese also interested in the topic. For example, Maltese who live in Australia. There's a lot of Maltese who want to learn their language, but they were born in Australia.
Għandil l-Australia u xortex tiqu tal l-Malti. Ekku, interessanti. U f'din il-paġna inti li għandek fuq Facebook, xi tpoġġi?
I'm trying to gather as much information about resources, anything that could be helpful, like all the courses that are going on, or any online resources, or even, for example, YouTube videos that have subtitles.
Bil-Malti.
For example, English ones that have subtitles in Maltese, or Maltese videos that have subtitles in English. Basically anything that helps, and other people are also sharing whatever they can find. So what I'm hoping for is that the more people like me come out and there is more awareness, then perhaps the government will also be pushing towards more resources and more help for foreigners who want to learn Maltese, because the efforts that the government is doing, that there are special units that promote Maltese, but they mostly promote it to the new generations who very often focus mostly on English. The government units, they don't really think that much about all the foreigners living here, and right now I think in Malta there is at least 20% of foreigners. It would be good to, of course, not all of them will want to learn the language because they can still use English. But I think a lot of them would like to.
Learn Maltese?
Yes.
Even if they are young?
Yes, yes.
And what would be the message that you would pass to those Maltese people who believe that the English language is superior to the Maltese one?
I would disagree very strongly. Look at all the other countries in Europe, everywhere basically. Like you have Sweden. Everybody speaks English in Sweden, but Swedish is the national language. Everything is in Swedish, and they're very proud of their language as well. Maltese is part of the culture, and I cannot understand why Maltese people would consider English superior, especially considering the whole history of Malta. I mean, this language has survived for so long under, in a way, maybe not occupation, but under control of different nations, of different languages, and still, in the hearts of the Maltese people, it survived at homes. Il-lingua tal-kċina. It was taught in the kitchen, right? So for those,
a lot of people still believe that it's the...
Yes, but that's what I mean. That's how it survived. It's the language of the kitchen because that's how it survived. And if it has been so strong to survive like 2,000 years of control by different nations, different other cultures, we can't just let it go. We cannot let the same thing happen to Maltese that happened to, for example, Scottish Gaelic, which almost completely disappeared. And
are you afraid that this will happen in Malta?
Yes, I am definitely afraid that this will happen in Malta. The more internationalization, internet, everything, becomes like one global village, and English is the global language. And a lot of young people do not really feel that, in a way, patriotic value
For
of
the
having their own culture, having their own language.
So it's a question of language as well, of culture.
Yes, yes, language is part of culture. I cannot imagine Maltese culture without the Maltese language. You know, it's part of it. And if I can do my little part as a foreigner, helping it survive in a way and promote it, and encourage other foreigners, which I'm trying to do as much as I can to learn, then I'm very happy to do so. And I hope I will have that little participation in the survival of this beautiful language. So,
One last thing. Let's choose a topic which you are comfortable in. And we'll do a short conversation in Maltese. For all those people who are saying, oh, he doesn't know how to speak Maltese well. Choose a topic.
ma nafx.
Per eżempju, fuq is-sajf, summer.
Naħseb li nistaw nitkellmu dwar il-mużika, per eżempju.
Dwar il-mużika.
Dwar il-mużika, iva.
Inti d-doqx istrument?
Iva, jiena mużiċist, għandi xi edukazzjoni, mużika tal-pjano u nista.
Jew inti d-doq il-pjano.
Nista ndoq il-pjano u nista nkanta wkoll.
Tista' tkanta?
Iva, kelli.
Ġeneru.
Alternativa.
Ġeneru
Alternativa bl-Ingliż goth. Ftit goth, dark wave, cold wave, ftit ta' mużika ta' tminijiet.
Ta' tmenijiet.
Iva. U kelli żewġ bands differenti, Iva. Wieħed band ħafna żmien illu.
Ħafna żmien ilu.
Iva.
Konta dek żgħira.
Minix żgħir jiena.
Ma spiritu zazuħ.
Iva, imma jena għandi 52 sena.
52 sena.
Iva, kelli band fil-
Żgur.
Disajnijiet?
Iva. Żgur qed tinkoraġġixxi ħafna żgħażagħ li segwu dan il-programm biex japprezzaw il-lingwa. Għax hekk inti Pollak tapprezza l-Malti, kemm ħafna aktar aħna misna napprezzaw l-ilsien tagħna, l-fatt li għandna dan l-ilsien. Ġifieri inti mużiċist ukoll.
Iva.
Forsi tiftaħ band bil-Malti.
Forsi, ħsibt dwar biex nagħmel xi kanzunetti bil-Malti, imma għadu għandi bżonn ħafna prattika biex nikteb xi ħaġa tajba bil-Malti taf.
Imma tipprova.
Imma qed nipprova u għadu infittex nies oħra interessati u forsi ħanamel il-band daw.
Ekku, u jekk tkun għamilt il-band, tista' tgħid li kont ġejt fuq By the Way, fuq RTK 103, u kont diġà qsamt dil-idea, u mbagħad nistidluk anku lilek u sħabek tiġu ddoqqu.
Iva.
Awguri mela.
Grazzi.
Thomas, grazzi ħafna. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and made this interview encourage other foreigners to learn Maltese.
I certainly hope so.
U sendu issa diska ta' Dune, qabel immorru għall-intervista li jmiss ħanisimgħu ftit mużika bil-Malti, daqt minn ftit ieħor nisimgħu anke servizzi li tjoffru l-Aġenzija żgħażagħ u nisimgħu anke din l-esperjenza ta' dan is-saċerdot Kenjan. L-interessanti kienu l-Maltin illi ħallsu anke għat-talim tiegħu biex sar saċerdot u tallem il-Malti. By the way, kompli minn ftit ieħor.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
Miej jiena għat Father Agustin, saċerdot Kenjan illi jgħix f'pajjiżna, skoprejt illi ħobb ħafna il-volleyball li hemm interessanti ħafna illi dan is-saċerdot Kenjan tallem il-Malti u jitkellem il-Malti. Ġifri kemm jista' jkun illum anki din l-intervista.
Mela nifhem xi ħaġa mhux kollox.
Sewwa, eżatt. Ħadkun bil-Malti. L-ewwel nett, għajdilna ftit dwarek.
Mela jiena Father Agustin Lape, mhux Lapez. Għax ħafna zaza hemmhekk Pawla jiċċajta ħafna Lapez.
Ekku, għax inti servi fil-parroċċa ta' Raħal Ġdid.
Fost il-żaza wkoll. U jiena ġej mill-Kenja, saċerdot tal-20 sena.
Ilek saċerdot 20 sena jew saċerdot 20 sena f'Malta?
Le, f'Malta jiena għax fil-Malta jiena niġi u ser.
All right.
Biex għal-dejjem. L-aħħar sentejn kont hawn. Ma qabel l-ewwel darba li jiena ġejt il-Malta dejja 2000.
All right.
U kien ordinat 2004.
U kif ġiet li tiġi Malta? Ejden naftit aktar dwar dan.
Mela, dak storja twila ma
Għanna ċans.
Dak iż-żmien ħafna Maltin jagħmlu is-saċerdot.
Okay.
U wieħed jisimgħu Michael Montebello. He paid for me to become a priest.
All right. Ġifir kien hemm Malti li ħallas biex għamela possibbli li inti sirt saċerdot, issir saċerdot.
U jiena ġejt biex so that I can find him.
Biex iżżuru tiltaqa' miegħu.
But he was dead by that time.
Kif ħassejtek? How did you feel?
I was looking forward to find him, but I found only the widow.
Okay.
She's also dead now.
Okay.
U wara ftit jiena trovajt benefattori oħrajn ħaż-żabbar.
Okay.
Għax Michael Montebello kien minn Iżejtun.
All right.
U minn hemm ħaż-żabbar jiena nkontrajt Lorenza Azzopardi. Jisimgħu wkoll Lorenza tal-Fjuri.
Okay, ġifieri din kienet ħalset ukoll biex inti ssir saċerdot?
Ejwa. U dun Giuseppe Sultana. U ftit jiena ngħid dejjem from one Maltese to another. You become friend of one, you become a friend of many. In the year 2012, I went to Paula.
Okay.
And from 2012, I've been going to Paula.
Min jaf kemm ferħu? Lorenza u n-nies illi kienu ħalsu biex inti ssir saċerdot meta ltaqgħu miegħek.
Il-Lorenza li ħafna snin magħha. She's still alive. And I go every weekend to visit her.
Tmur tara kull ġimgħa.
Kull nhar taħat.
Kull nhar taħat.
Ejwa.
Ħaġa sabiħa ħafna. You're very grateful for the people that made your vocation possible.
Iż-Żabbarin u Pawlisti.
Iż-Żabbarin u l-Pawlisti. Kemm ilek titkellem il-Malti ġifieri? Mill-ewwel bdejt titgħallem il-Malti minn dawn il-ħbiberiji li tinsemmu?
Mela jiena mal-għajnuna tal-Lorenza għamilt il-iskola ta' dar. Home tuition.
Għalmitek Lorenza?
Ejwa.
Kienet talmek istess?
Ejwa.
Installu għalik minna Lorenza sewa?
Mux fi skola.
Mux fi skola, d-dar taħħa?
Ejwa.
U x'kienu l-ewwel kelmiet li tallimt?
Għax Lorenza meta għamilt Fjuri. She used to tell me, read for me the gospel every day. Biex nara il-Vangelu tal-lum u tal-ħad.
Ġifieri Lorenza kienet tkun qed tagħmel il-Fjuri u inti kont taqrala l-Vanġelu.
Ejwa.
Bil-Malti.
Bil-Malti.
U hekk tallimt bil-mod il-Malti.
Read and land.
Mbagħad kienet tispjegalek il-kliem xi jfisser jew kont taqrah bl-Ingliż.
Ejwa, jispjega u xi ħaġa interessanti wkoll il-lingwa tagħna, il-Kenja Swahili. Ftit faċli bil-Malti.
Ġifieri tara xebħ bejn is-Swahili u l-Malti.
Għax Swahili nakseb 40% Semitika.
All right, hemm ħafna Semitika.
Ħafna. Meta i-Maltin jitkellmu jiena nista' nifhem xi ħaġa. Ħafna tqil biex
titkellmu mbagħad. Tifhem iktar, mbagħad forsi tisiba ftit aktar imma titkellem tajjeb ħafna.
Thank you.
Ġifieri s'issa met jismana żgur li baqa' impressjonat b'kemm għandek Malti tajjeb, għax illum hawn ċertu Maltin tismagħhom jitkellmu bl-Ingliż u inti mill-Kenja li titkellem il-Malti.
Ma jiġifieri jiena wkoll nagħmel ħafna prattika għax kuljum jiena nitqaddes bil-Malti.
Inti tqaddes bil-Malti.
Ejwa. U wkoll nagħmel talbiet l-oħrajn bil-Malti wkoll.
It-talb tagħmlu bil-Malti. Biex tkun tista' tikkomunika mal-Maltin?
Komunikazzjoni xi drabi mhux faċli, per eżempju bejn bil-Malti u bil-Awċi. Meta jiena ser inawdex naħseb ftit differenti.
Ħabba dialett, the dialect. L-Awċi diffiċli tifhimhom. Ħabba dialett sewa.
Interessant. Bil-Malti diffiċli, bil-Awċi diffiċli, ma bil-Awċi interessant. Interessant.
Qed insemmu l-Għawdex. Jogħġbok Għawdex?
Ejwa, ħafna.
Għalfej?
Il-tapinu, il-nadur.
Il-nadur.
U l-aħar darba, il-festa ta' Sant...
Ta' Sannat?
Sant Mikel. Post... Il-nadur, il-festa...
Ta' San Pietru Pawl?
Ejwa, San Pietru Pawl.
Ta' San Pietru Pawl. Kif kienet l-esperienza dik meta rajt festa f'Malta?
I-festi solenni.
Eżatt.
Ma 20 sena Zabbar i-festi kon ħafna interessanti.
Żgur il-festi ta' Zabbar. Naħseb tallimt ħafna Malti li aħjar ma nirripetuħx u aħjar il-nies ma jgħidux naqblu.
U dal-waqt. Dal-waqt il-festa tal-Grazzja.
Eżatt. Barra li għalmitek Lorenza d-dar kont taqra l-Evanġelju. Kien hemm xi persuni oħra li jgħinuk jew xi affarijiet li kont tagħmel li jgħinuk biex tallimt il-Malti? Speċjalment
il-Dun Giuseppe Sultana. Xax tkellimni bil-Malti biss. Lorenza kelmi bil-Ingliż xi drabi. Dun Giuseppe bil-Malti biss. U għax jiena l-ewwel darba meta kien hawn kien seminarista.
Inti ġejt bħala seminarista?
Seminarista u Dun Giuseppe Sultana. He really helped me a lot too.
Biex titgħallem il-Malti, kien jgħinek.
U issa wkoll Dun Mark Andre Camilleri.
Eżatt.
Għax il-kappellan hemm u tajt il-ċans biex nitqaddes bil-Malti.
Tqaddes eżatt bil-Malti.
Fil-Basilika.
Fil-Basilika tal-ħarġdik, ta' Kristore.
U wkoll postijiet oħrajn, per eżempju, anti sorjiet ta' Rolsolini, sorjiet ta' Karità, sorjiet i-Dominikan, fej il-bib Hompesh.
Okay. Ħammorru għal waqfa qasira u by the way ma' Father Augustin ikompli minna u ftit ieħor.
By the way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.
By the way, ikompli qed nitkellmu dwar il-Barranin f'pajjiżna illi talmu il-Malti. Diġà smajna l-esperjenza ta' Tumas, il-Pollak li jgħix bir-Żebbuġa illi tallem il-Malti u jixtieq li aktar persuni Barranin jieħdu l-interess li jitalmu il-Malti. Imbagħad din nisimgħu l-esperjenza ta' Father Augustin, dan is-saċerdot mill-Kenja li grazzi għad donazzjonijiet tal-Maltin ukoll irnexxielu jasal fil-mixja tiegħu saċerdotali u llum il-ġurnata iservi f'pajjiżna iqaddes bil-Malti u integra sew grazzi għall-ilsim Malti. Tajjeb nirrimarka din l-intervista ma' Father Augustin saret aktar kmieni kienet minħabba raġunijiet loġistiċi imma qed tixxandar anki waqt dan il-programm by the way. Inkomplu din l-intervista. In-nies meta eżempju tmur tixtri tmur tixtri bħal kulħadd. U tiġi biex tħallas u tkellemhom bil-Malti eżempju, jinħasdu.
Ejwa, il-Malti. Ma xi ħaġa interessanti, in-numri tagħna. We read it in the opposite way. Per eżempju, 26 bil-Malti, 26. Bil-Swahili 26.
All right.
I have to watch not to pay 62. I pay 26.
Jgħidu kemmu ġeneruż dal-qassis ta' nat-tips.
Ħafna tip too much. Yes.
Ġifiri, ikunu sorprizi meta jaraw li l-ek milkien titkellem il-Malti daqstan tajjeb.
In-nis In-nies ġenerożi ħafna, in-nies tkun friendly ħafna. U per eżempju, sometimes I like in the street to shout, "Ow, Johnny!" You know, and there was, "Ow, father!" So, ħafna friendly, tkun ħafna friendly.
Jivirgu kan nistaqsik il-ħajja tiegħek hawn Malta kif inhi.
Mela, il-Malta huwa pajjiż mhux ħafna komplikati. Bħal il-pajjiż oħrajn, per eżempju, jiena studjajt f'Roma.
All right, f'Roma.
U wkoll in Ġermanja. In-nies f'Malta, per eżempju, tista' titkellem man persona in the streets. When you are lost, they will help you to find your way.
Jgħinuk meta titlef it-triq.
Yes. I don't want to say something about any other country, but
Fimnik imma.
okay, yes. So, in-nies kun ħafna friendly, specialment meta they know that you are a priest.
Fil-fatt kont nistaqsik. Taħseb illi il-Maltin għadhom jiddiskriminaw fil-konfront ta' persuni barranin, imma forsi fil-konfront jekk ma jiddiskriminawx għal fatt li indi saċerdot?
Jiena, in all this time, it's important I say this in English, in all this time, I never had discrimination. Because what I think is important about Malta is the Maltese, what you give them is what you receive back. As soon as you meet them on the street and you find they're friendly, they smile back. If you don't smile, they won't smile. And sometimes if you smile, they smile twice. So I think what you give is what you get. So sometimes maybe, in my case, I didn't get any discrimination. But sometimes I saw in the bus when some people did not understand one another. But it's maybe because they do not understand. Fil-Kastije jena 20 sena hawn. Iktar mill 20 sena. So I understand. The people understand me. And specialment meta nitkellem ma' nies bil-Malti, they become even more happy. And you can have a conversation even for half an hour.
Osgol, mux
You're still talking. Yes, but
Jifir il-lingwa tara għodda tajba ħafna fl-integrazzjoni.
huwa ħafna importanti. Ħafna.
Min xi ħbieb li għandek hawn Malta, li huma barranin? Tara li huma jesperjenzaw ir-razziżmu jew forsi xi forma ta' diskriminazzjoni?
In Paula għandna komunità grandi tal-Indjan u naħseb Sirjan ukoll hemmhekk. U naħseb we don't have a problem there. I don't know about other places, but in Paula, in Zabar, I didn't see any cases. I didn't see.
Aħjar.
Anche per esempio, hemmhekk il-Paula għandna il-kappella ta' Santu Baldesca. U hemm għandna l-komunità tal-Indjan. Għaddes bi il-rito Siro Malabrez.
Nartaħat fil-ħodu, xe?
Nartaħat fil-ħodu. U għanna grupp liħor tal-Indjani, rito Ruman. Those ones, they come and have mass with us.
Issa dik hija xi ħaġa sabiħa ħafna li naxtaq insemmu wkoll. Illi intom il-mod kif qed issir il-qudies raħal ġdid, illi l-komunitajiet barranin jistgħu jintegraw billi wkoll jattendu għal qudies.
U per eżempju anke fil-programma tal-Bażilika kulna ta' Sibt fi 7:30 fil-għaxija għandna il-qudies bil-Ingliż.
Jattendu għalija n-nies.
Għanna we have a number.
Dik tqaddisenti wkoll?
Ejwa. U xi drabi meta għandna wkoll l-assissin minn barra.
Eżatt. Eżenti ilek 20 sena Malta. So taf ftit demografija tal-Maltin, eċċetera, il-mod kif jaħsbu. Għalfejn taħseb il-Maltin qed jonqshom il-Knisja. Kurzita, ma diċ taqsam ma' suġġett tal-lum, ma' kurzita fuq il-fat li inti li tara mill-perspettiva li ġej minn pajjiż ieħor minn komunità oħra.
I would like to say this. What is happening in Malta is also happening everywhere. Only that in Malta you see it drastic. The numbers went down drastically. But it is also happening everywhere. This is not only about the faith, this is about media, because everybody wants to be like everybody. And maybe people like to copy one another when something is trending or something of the sort. Per esempio, maybe I don't see a lot of young people in the church. But last Friday, I attended a funeral of a young man, Maruf Hafna. I can mention his name, David,
Yes.
David Wellman. God rest his soul in peace. And the church was very full, very, very, very full. So I think there is some times when some things will bring the people together to the faith. It's only that maybe we should keep on praying and keep on seeing how these young people, we can listen to them more and see how we can integrate them back into the church together. But we have to keep looking, we have to keep praying, we have to keep listening. We have to keep listening, but it is something that it is happening everywhere.
Qed nitkellmu dwar il-fidi. Kienu l-Maltin li ħarsu għas-saċerdozzju tiegħek, jiena kurjuż inkun naf il-vokazzjoni tiegħek minn fejn ġejja.
Ukoll storja twila. Ma
Għandna ċansejja.
jiena l-ispirazzjoni tiegħi fil-part kbir was from my father.
Minn papa tiegħek, minn issierek.
Il-ġenitori mal-papa aktar. It was an interesting journey. I think at first I didn't want to become a priest. But then
What did you want to become?
I wanted to become a pilot.
A pilot.
Yes. Because I wanted to travel around the world. But it's interesting now that you have become a priest and I'm also traveling around the world.
As a missionary.
So sometimes when you go and do what God tells you to do, you also get what you wanted. Like in the Bible, it says, seek first the kingdom of God and all the rest will be given to you. I wanted to become a pilot and I work a lot with IT.
Okay.
With a master's in GIS. So when I could not become a pilot, then I told my father I want to go into IT, and then I could not go into IT. Then I went and became a priest, and then after I became a priest, I went back to the university and studied IT. So I don't know if I'll still make it to be a pilot, but I am already satisfied, yes, with the IT. So. And then vocation is something that you cannot say that since I became a priest is finished. Every day there is something new. Jiġifieri kull jum ma xi ħaġa interessanti, xi ħaġa ġdid.
Bħal xiex?
For example, when you see the experience of the people, you see something different every day. When the people come to confession, when they come for the mass, when they go for the funeral. Like when I went to the funeral, I saw something different, something new that was still really
Touching.
very touching, because this man was 23 years old. So you don't expect these 23 years old to most of them to be in the church, but because of a 23-year-old, his church was completely full. So it tells me that even though you do not see them on Sunday, they still have an attachment with Jesus. So we should just find out how this attachment is going to be reawakened. Sometimes it comes when there is a tragedy like that. Sometimes it comes when there's something good like a wedding.
True.
Sometimes it comes when there's something good like First Holy Communion or Grisma. So we just have to find out how we have to increase this so that we find more reason to preach Jesus to them. It's something we need to find out every day. And people are different. Sometimes if people ask me my opinion, like there is something we do in Paula which is very interesting.
X'inhi?
I think they also do it in many places. It berik ta djar.
Iva, mela. Anke fil-lokalitajiet l-oħra madwar Malta.
And sometimes we do it in the evening when the family is there. U il-assis għandu ċans biex jitkellmu ma' il-familja kollha. Because the family is a small church. So even if you don't see them in the big church, but you have a chance to talk to them in their church, which is the house. Because also Jesus used to do that. He would go to the house of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. He would go to the house of this and this and this and this. So if I am to be asked, then I would say that I would have more time with it Berik Tadir, and then make other occasions also of speaking to the whole family and that.
Qed nitkellmu dwar l-aspirazzjoni tiegħek, laqna mill-fatt li xtaqt issir pilota, qed nitkellmu dwar ix-xewqa tiegħek illi tixtieq li jkollok aktar ħin fid-djar mal-familji, semmejt fil-bidu li inti taħdem ukoll maż-żgħażagħ. Kif?
Ma sissa jiena nista' nistudja fil-Università.
Ta' fejn?
University of Malta.
Okay, fl-Università ta' Malta sewa.
U nagħmel teoloġija pastorali.
Għarret, tagħmel teoloġija pastorali.
Interessant ħafna. Because it helps me to understand the Maltese situation. The professor, everybody there, they're quite good.
Sewa.
Also, I go to Blat al-Baida school.
All right.
To say the mass and the confessions. I also soon will begin to go to... In Gzira, there's a school, De La Salle.
Okay.
I think so. So this is now school for girls.
Okay.
Bnite. Now I'll be going to the boys' school.
Okay.
So it is giving me a different experience, a different perspective.
Għajnej ġodda biex
Ejwa.
taraw kol il-fidi kif qed tiġi mejxa fl-iskejjel, fid-djar, fil-parroċċa, fil-gruppi ta' żgħażagħ.
Ma l-esperienza tiegħi ma' żgħażagħ ma if the priest can show them the true love of Jesus, because it is the true love of Jesus that evangelizes, nothing else. It's important, the liturgy, we read the gospel and everything.
Ma dik l-imħabba, dak il-żelu.
Yes. The Zaza, they want to see how what you are reading and living is happening in your life. You cannot stop them from looking at your life because you are a public figure. So they want to see, are you a priest who is smiling at them?
And you have a very beautiful smile.
Thank you very much. It's
Jaqbdu miegħek jgħidu lek tagħmel reklam ta' toothpaste.
Colgate your close up. Sensodyne.
Jafu għedha xi multa reklam.
But it's true that even Pope John Paul said, I think it's Pope John Paul or some Pope, I cannot remember exactly. He said, speak less, smile more.
And you do it a lot?
I think I laugh, I don't smile a lot. I laugh. By the way, I like comedies and I like...
Good pun, by the way, the name of the program.
I like comedies. I like... sometimes you also ask me some hobbies. Now I remember I like cartoons.
What do you want? What do you like?
Cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons. Okay. What's your favorite cartoon?
The Smurfs.
The Smurfs?
Yes. Papa Smurf and everybody else.
Okay. And what type of comedy do you like?
from the ones of Malta, I cannot remember mostly. But when I was young, there used to be Mind Your Language.
Okay.
Yes, I think there's still recordings about that.
Yeah. And do you think that comedy can be used in evangelization?
Yes. Recently, the Pope called comedians to...
Yeah, to meet
to
all
meet him.
together.
Yes. It should be used, but in the right way, because if you use comedy also to have a double speak, it does not help. So you use the comedy well and whatever. I think even in Malta, I've heard that there was a priest who was who used to dress like a clown.
Yes, in fact, Father Brian Gelanzi, I had invited him to this program as well.
I've never met him, but I think he's doing a good job. Yes, so something of the sort.
Tkellimna dwar aspirazzjonijiet u semmejna li xtaqt issir pilota. Ma nafx fil-ħidma tiegħek hemm xi pajjiż illi tixtieq iżżur. Qed tagħmel ħafna safar.
I went to Australia. I studied in Italy.
Interessanti, fl-Awstralja. Iltqajt mal-Maltin tal-Awstralja.
Melbourne. In the parroċċja West Sunshine u Hoppers Crossing. U hemm ukoll għandna l-parroċċja l-ieħor għamilt ġemelanza ma' Tarxin.
All right.
L-Annunzjata.
Ejju, eżatt, il-Madonna tal-Annunzjata, eżatt.
Annunzjata. When I was there, they made a feast also.
All right.
With the processioni.
All right.
It was very interesting. But I have not been there for about 5 years now.
Imma interessanti isek ħadd grazzja mal-Maltin, għax mhux Malta biss, anke meta sifirt.
Because Melbourne, there was quite a big community of the Maltese, and there used to be a bishop there also. I don't know what his name was. There was a bishop there, but he died. He was one of the auxiliary bishops. He was also a very inspiring man.
Okay.
He also used to smile a lot. Maybe we learned from smiling from them.
Ġifieri l-Awstralja, l-Italja, fejn iktar?
Germania. Yeah. England in Hampshire. England, Germania, Italia, Malta.
Malta.
U Australia.
Awstralja.
5 countries with.
U prattikajt il-Malti l-Awstralja wkoll fid-diskors tiegħek.
Ejwa.
Li huma l-iktar kliem li tuża? L-iktar kliem li tuża bil-Malti.
Bil-Malti.
Barra xi bonġu kif inti, ma x'tuża l-iktar bħala kliem? Naħfirlek nobietek?
Ħafna drabi meta n-nies Father, make a prayer. I like saying Gloria il-Misiru Liben u Spiritu Santu kif mill-bidu issa u dejjem u jibqal dejjem ta' dejjem amen. Grazie Signor Allah. Waffrilni Signor Allah. That is my best prayer. I like that. And
Saint George Preka.
I love that.
Saint.
Grazie Signor Allah, waffrilni Signor Allah.
So if I had to ask you the favorite Maltese quote would be that?
Yes, and okay, there's another one, which normally when I say, I used to learn it a long time ago. And that is Viva I Maltin Wauchin. Something of the sort. So that is what I also used to like to say.
L-aħħar mistoqsija. L-ikel favorit tiegħek, ikel Malti.
You mentioned fennec.
Ah,
nice. I like it.
Fennec.
Yes.
And before you told me you like pastizzi as well.
Pastizzi, that one is for the morning, the breakfast.
Eżatt.
But I like spaghetti fennec.
Spaghetti bil-fennec? Issa skużani għax l-għandi pastizzi u laqas spaghetti tal-fennec. Għal darbohra tajjeb.
Tajjeb.
Any concluding remarks?
Thank you very much. I think you're doing a good job. The media is very powerful. It is very, very powerful. The youth is very powerful. Now I am 48 years old. Sometimes I wish there were things I could do better. But now the time has gone. But I look forward to what comes in the future. But when you're still young, 16, 15, going all the way to 40, use your time for Jesus. Yes, because also there's something else I would like to say. I forgot
of
about
course.
this. I am going as a priest to Blat al-Baida, and now very soon I'll go to De La Salle. Because I have a prayer inside. And my prayer is that I'll be able to inspire these young people in the future to become more priests and religious. Because Malta is one of the smallest countries in the world, but it has a very big influence in the whole world. We miss a big number of the Maltese priests outside because the number is going down. Because they are unique. Some of us became priests maybe because we saw them. ويانا نيدي مالتا و palil alb li pompja idem ta generosità u ta religiosità madwar id-dinja kollha.
Għax rajt ħafna karità li saret miegħek stess.
Karità ma anke il-religiosità.
Hekk il-qalb ta' fidi.
It's spiritualità. There's a special spirituality. The charity and generosity is there always. They know about that. Even if they are not priests, they do it. No matter whether they're priests or not, or religious or not, they're still generous. They have an open heart to generous. But their priests, when they came to Kenya, to my country, they had a unique spirituality. And that spirituality is maybe some of us saw, and that is why some of us are happy to be here. For example, when I'm in the Basilica, I'm very happy with the spiritual programs there, the way we do it, and traditionally and everything, and the liturgy is very beautiful. So I'd like to pray that we do not lose the numbers, not only for Malta, but for the whole world, because they went to very many places. وقفنا وأخنا frott.
Il-ħidma tagħhom.
Ewa.
Father Gestin, grazzi ħafna.
Thank you.
Jiena ċerti li kienet intervista sabiħ ħafna, jiena ħadd biċir ħafna nagħmilha, ma ċerti li semmija apprezzaw ħafna id-bissima tiegħek ta' ispirazzjoni, ġifieri x-xewqa li hemm fil-qalb tiegħek ċert li ħadħalli l-frott ma' tfal żgħażagħ adolescenti li se tkun qiegħed isservi għaliex verament titkellem mill-qalb u naħseb għandek potenzjal ta' kummedjant ukoll. Ġifieri you'd be a very good comedian, so use that as well. Għandek xi taf xi xajta bil-Malti, forsi nagħlqu biha?
I can't remember one any now.
Ma jidina, biex nalqu jidina xaġa bil-Malti li trid.
I like the way they call me Lapis because they say I am a pencil in the hands of God.
Ah, okay.
So first I used to say I'm not a pencil, but they say you are a pencil in the hand of God.
Concluding remark, do you know how to rap? Because in Malta we have a rap singer who's called Il-Lapis. So we make it, maybe do
I heard about him.
You heard about him?
Yes.
Maybe we do a collaboration. He raps and maybe you rap as well, or you sing. Or
I'll sing.
You'll sing?
I'll sing, I can't rap.
Father Kirsten, thank you so much
Yes.
for being with me.
By the way, your presenter Gabriel Lia.
By the way, ikompli u miegħi inaqat Sara Spiteri, which familjari għal min segwina bil-filmat fuq Newsbook TV u nkella fuq YouTube ta' Newsbook Malta. By the way, ikompli is-sem ta' Aġenzija Żgħażagħ huwa kbir ħafna wkoll f'dan il-programm għaliex isir bis-sapport tagħhom u tal-Malta Catholic Youth Network għal daqstant tajb ukoll nitkellmu dwar is-servizzi li toffru intom bħala Aġenzija Żgħażagħ. Llum se nitkellmu dwar proġetti kolorit ħafna bħal mul flok ta' Sara llum vera għandek flok faqa.
Thank you. U ma stajtx sib definizzjoni aħjar għal dan il-programm li ħan tkunu għandin nitkellmu fuq.
Ekku, Songcraft. X'inhu Songcraft?
Eżatt. Kif juri l-isem Songcraft. Wieħed jista' jimmaġina li se jkun hemm kreazzjoni ta' mużika u ta' lirika. Sewwa ġifieri dan il-programm se jkun qed jindirizza lil dawk iż-żgħażagħ li għandhom għall-qalbhom il-kompożizzjoni tal-mużika u anke l-kitba tal-lirika, ġifieri dawk iż-żgħażagħ li nistgħu nirreferu għalihom bħala kantawturi. Ġifieri il-parteċipant irid ikun jikteb il-mużika u anke l-lirika.
Ma tistax tkun kuntest li inti tikteb il-mużika biss u xi ħadd ieħor iktiblek il-lirika f'dal każ.
Le, u għet jindirizza zazah li għandhom bejn 14 u 20 sena. Songcraft tajjeb ngħid li huwa kollaborazzjoni ma' spazju kreattiv u anka ħajkun hemm nies li huma professjonisti fil-qasam tal-mużika li se jkunu qed jagħtu s-servizz tagħhom waqt dan il-programm għax ovvjament jien bħala youth worker jista' jkun għandi għal-qalb il-mużika ma mbagħad m'iniex professjonista fil-qasam.
Ewriet mill-papa sewa.
Ewriet xi ħaġa ħanejtek imma
il-mużika fil-familja.
Ekku, imma l-qalb tiegħi tħabbat fil-qasam taż-żgħażagħ. Songcraft hija esperjenza sabiħa għax min japplika u jintażel, għax ovvjament iż-żgħażagħ iridu japplikaw għalihom u tajjeb.
Proċess ta' għażla.
Eżatt, tajjeb ngħidu li l-applikazzjonijiet se jkunu miftuħa sa 3 ta' Diċembru, ġifieri ħaffu applikawx fil-verità japplikaw ħafna għalih ħalli anke intom ma tħallux għall-aħħar. Min jintażel mbagħad se jkun akkumpanjat minn mentor li huwa professjonist fil-qasam tal-mużika li flimkien magħhom se jitħarġu anke jiżviluppaw xogħol oriġinali tagħhom. Ġifieri żgħażagħ mhux
Ma ħallewx ġol kaxxun. Il-lirika,
Żgur li ħarġuhom il-kaxxun, anzi, u se joħorġuh barra mit-tieqa, għax qed ngħidlek, għax fl-aħħar tal-programm, iż-żgħażagħ li se jkunu din jipparteċipaw f'Songcraft se jkollhom iċ-ċans anke jesebixxu x-xogħol li jikkreaw huma lill-udjenza f'serata mużikali ħanitek.
Dik waħda mill-isbaħ affarijiet li għandu proġett bħal dan.
Ħafna, ġifieri minix qed nivvinta billi ngħidlek tkun sabiħa biex inħajjar iż-żgħażagħ jiġu. Verament tkun sabiħa x'anke tara dak l-entużjażmu, l-enerġija taż-żgħażagħ bejnietom stess. Fimt anke l-fatt li mhijiex kompetizzjoni imma hija xi ħaġa li qed jaħdmu. Eżatt, fejn iż-żgħażagħ qed jaħdmu flimkien qed jinkoraġixxu xulxin, jikkoreġu lil xulxin ukoll, fimt? U anke jkun hemm dik il-kurzita li isma' inti x'ġeneru interessat fih jew x'qiegħed tagħmel mal-mentor tiegħek, fimt?
Spazju sabiħ ta' kollaborazzjoni għal min irid ma' artisti ma' mużiċisti oħra li mbagħad jista' jwassal il qudiem li huma jiżviluppaw il-mużika tagħhom lil anki f'kompetizzjoni eċetera.
Gabriel, aħna mhux ġast ħanifukaw fuq is-sessions mal-mentors biss, imma li żgħażagħ ħantuhom iċ-ċans biex jitħarġu ftit biex qed jgħinu għodda ta' kif jimmarkitjaw il-mużika tagħhom, kif iġibu ruhom quddiem in-nies, kif iwieġbu ċertu domandi. Ovvjament dak li jinvolvi kollu meta inti tkun involut f'dan il-qasam fejn it-tiltaqa' man nies u qed tisponi t-talent tiegħek.
Sara, grazzi ħafna, nawguraw li jkun hemm ħafna u ħafna żgħażagħ illi jisimgħu l-ewwel net bi proġett bħal dan għax kultant tiltaqa' ma' żgħażagħ jgħidlek qas inkun konxju kemm hawn servizzi.
Ekku, u ħaġa waħda biss biex anke jsiru jafu kif jibbenefikaw minn daw is-servizzi u anke kif jipparteċipaw
f'Songcraft fil-fatt.
Jistgħu jidħlu fuq il-website tagħna youth.gov.mt hemm l-application online. U faċilment ġifieri timlija, mbagħad ovvjament nirċivuha u nieħdu ħsieb kollox aħna.
U dak li jkun anke jkollu xi mistoqsijiet bħalissa waqt ikun qed jagħmel anke l-applikazzjoni faċli ħafna biex jagħmel.
Eżatt, is-servizz huwa b'xejn ukoll, ġifieri dak li jkun m'għandux għalfejn jgħod jaħsibha darbtejn. U nwiġbu għad-domandi li jkollhom iż-żgħażagħ u anke l-ġenituri jew nies oħra li jinkoraġixxu ż-żgħażagħ jipparteċipaw dawn l-affarijiet.
Ġifieri jekk inti taf il xi ħadd li kantawtur jew kantawtriċi forsi ftit
mistħija.
Issa ċans illi toħroġ dak it-talent fil-beraħ. Grazzi ħafna Sara.
Grazzi lilek.
U hawnhekk ġejna fit-tmiem ta' edizzjoni oħra tal-programm By the Way, jiena Gabriel Lija insellimlek.
By the Way, jippreżenta Gabriel Lija.